शासनं स्वामी विश्वमोहनं हरिदधीश्वरम् आराध्य पादुकम् हरिविवर्धनं स्वामी नित्यनर्तनं हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये।
Sai Ram. With pronounced at the lotus feet of our most beloved Bhagavan, dear friends, we have this morning for study few of the aspects relating to Onam celebration. Some people have been asking me what Onam is and its inner significance. Onam is a festival which is observed here every year. And this Onam is an important grand gala festival in the state of Kerala. And that festival is celebrated in a very grand way by all Malayalis wherever they are, and they are spread all over the world. And this is occasion for all of them to meet and exchange greetings. I would like to deal on that subject this morning with spiritual philosophical implications. My friends, I am not tired to repeat time and again that what has fascinated me in Swami. That happens to be his interpretation of all the festivals in depth, the philosophical and spiritual implications of all the deities, of all the festivals relevant to the occasion. So Bhagavan explained few important points relating to Onam festival with spiritual aspects, which I would like to share with you this morning. Let us start with the Emperor Bali, about whom Swami referred to in his discourse repeatedly on that day. He went on repeating his name, Bali, Bali, Bali. Bali is an emperor of that land. We don't live at that stage. Let us understand the meaning of Bali. Bali, the name has two meanings. Most of the names here have meanings. People are not simply named like Tom, Dick and Harry. No, it's not like that. And every name has a meaning. Why? Because when you call a person, you will recall God's name. That's why people are named after gods, deities, and so on. So Bali is the name of the king. And that name Bali has two meanings. One meaning is the one with bala or strength. Bala is physical strength. He can easily handle all of us. But Mahabali, gigantic, well-built, hectic personality. And the second meaning of Bali is sacrifice. These are the two meanings of the name Bali, who happened to be the emperor in Kerala. And surprisingly enough, this Bali is a demon. Demons in Sanskrit is Asura. Asura meaning Sura, that which is good. Without. Asura, without goodness, is a demon. We usually think, children think usually demons meaning a long moustache and hair and ferocious eyes and almost like a nightmare. Not necessary. Well, there is certainly a demon within all of us. Particularly when we are not prepared to accept anything good. Yes, we are demons. There is no doubt about it. So, Bali, Emperor Bali is Asura, Na plus Sura. Meaning, he is not prepared to accept anything that is good. That's about Bali. And then another point is this. Being an emperor, a demonic king, he wanted to occupy the highest position. The highest position in that plane of angels or gods or deities. Highest place. What is it? It is Indra. Indra is the leader and the head of all deities, devatas, Indra. So Bali wanted to occupy that position, Indra. In meaning head of the, everybody wants to be head, to have some people below him and to salute and respect and all that. So Bali is already an emperor here, but still he wants to be the head of all angels also, of all deities. So Indra meaning a position of authority and power, head of the department of all angels. So he wanted to become that. So what is the way? He started performing yajna. I think I am clear. Emperor Bali wanted to be Indra, occupy the post of Indra, the position of Indra, for which he has taken to this activity of performing yajna, as the story goes. Now let us understand the spiritual aspects of it. Indra means what? Bhagavan explains this way. All the parts of a body, these are the limbs of the body or senses of the body. In Sanskrit you can say Indriya. Indriyas meaning different parts of our body. The senses, limbs, Indriyas. Indra is the head of Indriyas. He is the head of all the senses of the whole body. I think you understand me. I cannot see unless the mind decides to see. I don't hear unless the mind decides to hear. That's why some people are absent-minded, because mind is elsewhere. So he doesn't hear anything. We don't see people in front of us because mind is elsewhere. So mind is Indra, the head of Indriyas. Mind is the head of all this body, of all these senses. Now, Emperor Bali wanted to be that, the mind. And when this mind is fully occupied with the divinity, the mind gets transformed into godliness, total divinity. When the mind is full of the world, it is totally worldly. When the mind is in full thought of God, well, that is completely divine. So, Emperor Bali wanted to occupy that Brahmatva, the divine state of awareness of the mind, the divine state of realization and experience of consciousness by the mind. So he wanted to occupy that place. The procedure he has chosen was to perform yajna. What is the inner meaning of this yajna? We are going to witness very soon yajna coinciding with the celebration of Dasara festival. Well, maybe from 3rd or so. 9th happens to be the Vijayadashmi, the concluding day of October. You will be witnessing the yajna. So what is this yajna here? Bali, who has decided to perform yajna, what does it mean? The significance is this. My friends, yajnas and yagas, which are spiritual rituals, will give you certain conveniences, certain comforts, will take you to a state which is limited by 3 gunas. I repeat once again. By performing yajna, by performing yaga, I achieve that state which is temporary, which is conditioned by 3 gunas. Tamo guna, the animalistic, Rajo guna, the emotion or passion, Sattva guna, piousness. So anything that you achieve by performing yajna is conditioned by time and controlled by 3 gunas. Therefore, yajna and yagas will give you only temporary gain, but not a permanent benefit. You will not get the permanent benefit, it is only temporary gain. Therefore, Emperor Bali, trying to perform this yajna, which gives him a temporary gain of occupying that place of authority, Indra, is purely temporary. So therefore it's time for him to realize that yajna is not the proper way. There must be something higher. Yajna yagas will give you worldly benefits. You ask for more. You are getting more and more until you are tired, bored, vexed with it. And you say no more. You won't say once more. You will say no more. Because you get bored of it. Therefore, the fulfillment of worldly desires by performing yajna and yagas will take us nowhere. In the sense, it gives you only the worldly pleasure, the worldly comforts, the benefits. Therefore, when Emperor Bali was performing this yajna with the thought of occupying the place of Indra, it was the time for God to teach him a lesson. Why? Why not God teach a lesson to others? Why to Emperor Bali only? Why? Because he deserves. Emperor Bali deserves that kind of teaching from God so that he can learn from God. He earned that deservedness. How has he earned? By being good, by being kind, by being compassionate, by being an ideal king, ideal ruler who has endeared himself to the entire kingdom there, most popular. He is ready to sacrifice anything to please his people. That made him deserve a teaching from God. Therefore, when people say, well, I am not getting that, I am not getting that, we should understand, we are desiring and we are not deserving. We are not deserving, but we go on desiring. There are only 2 options here. Either we stop desiring, or first deserve and desire. 2 options, that's all. Therefore, Emperor Bali, who deserved this gift from God by way of a beautiful, everlasting teaching, God himself appeared in the form of Vamana. Vamana is an incarnation like Rama and Krishna. Vamana is dwarf, very short. very short. Vamana. Very good looking, very cute, very handsome. With all the brilliance on the face. Not that I met him as the description goes. As the description goes. So, Vamana was such a cute person, very short. Well, what does it mean? What does it convey? Please understand that. Where is God? Bhagavan said at one time, quoting Upanishads, Anoraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. God is present in the microcosm and in the macrocosm. Smallest of the small and the biggest of the big. God is present in both. Smallest of the small on one hand and biggest of the big on the other. Now, that Vamana, representing divinity in the smallest, comes to Bali there. And then asks Emperor Bali to give him just 3 feet. That's all. Very simple. People simply laughed. How is that he wanted only 3 feet? You would have asked for a whole kingdom. Because king is ready to give anything that you ask for. 3 feet is such a small area. Yes, why not? You take it, said Emperor Bali. Now Vamana, dwarf, has become gigantic in personality. He went on increasing his size. Yes. Such a gigantic personality. What does it mean? As a dwarf, he is divine. As he increased his body to gigantic, well-built personality, he is totally divine. Anuvaraniyan Mahato Mahiyan. So, in microcosm and macrocosm, God is present in both. As Vamana, as a dwarf, and as Vamana, later, who has become gigantic in his personality. Right, sir? Now, what are the 3 feet? Why not 6? Why not 5? Why only 3? Well, I would like to bring to your attention another point with regard to Vamana. Vamana, the incarnation, is born to parents by name Aditi and Kashyapa. Kashyapa is the father of Vamana. Aditi is the mother of Vamana. Vamana is the child of these parents. Those names have meaning. Aditi, A plus Diti. What does it mean? That which cannot be divided. That which cannot be fragmented. That which cannot be segmented. Or cut to pieces. Which is total. Can you cut the sky? Can you cut the space? No. It is totality. Therefore, Aditi meaning totality, whole, which cannot be divided. That happens to be the name of the mother, Vamana. And what is father's name? Kashyapa. Kashyapa meaning the one who sees, the one who watches. So, Kashyapa watches the totality, the wholeness of the divinity. That is wonderful combination. If the wife thinks of totality, if the husband thinks of what we call diversity or division, that is a horrible combination. It's not so. Both of them represent same goal. Aditi meaning totality. Kashyapa, who watches that wholeness or totality, are the names of the parents of Vamana. And then, meaning, when you are in deep meditation, you don't find any kind of pieces, any kind of multiplicity, any kind of plurality. When you are in deep meditation, everything is oneness. Everything is total. Everything is complete. That's what Kasyapa stands for. Kasyapa, the father of Vamana, is a great sage who can only think of totality of the divinity. He cannot think of divinity as a part. He thinks of divinity as a whole. So he is Kasyapa, the one who watches, the one who is a witness, the one who sees. Aditi, that which cannot be split, that which cannot be divided. Well now, this Vamana asks for the 3 feet, and 3 feet are granted. And he was trying to occupy, as the story goes, he occupied the whole earth, 1 feet over, and he occupied the whole space, finished. There is no place for the 3rd footstep. Then what is to be done? Emperor Bali says, my lord, my head is available. You can put your leg on my head. That's all. Because you have occupied both the places. There is no place left now. My head is free. Please keep your head. This is the story. But this has got spiritual implications. My friends, these are all collected from Bhagavan's discourses. I repeat once again, that which appeals to me much is this kind of interpretation, wherein we will realize its inner meaning and the depth and appreciate the story. Or else, well, there is no meaning after all. There is no meaning for the celebration. And now, what are the 3 feet? One, there are 3 states of consciousness, awareness in every one of us. One state is what we call the waking state, Jagrat. The second state is a dreaming state, Swapna. The 3rd state is a deep sleep state, Turiya. These are the 3 states: Jagrat, waking state; Swapna, the dreaming state; and Turiya, and then 3rd one, Sushupti. Sushupti is the deep sleep state. These are 3 states. No one has extra 3 states, that's all. Now, if this is the waking state, and I am able to see, I am able to experience, everything comes under perception to experience in the waking state with the body, mind and Atma consciousness. This is the waking state. And the self in me in the waking state is called Viswa, V-I-S-W-A. Viswa is the name of the self who experiences in the waking state. Then the second state, the dreaming state, Swapna. There in the dream I dream many things. That which is not possible here, everything is possible there in the dreamland. I go on dreaming, and that dreamer, I am not speaking of the dream, the dreamer is the same self, is the same consciousness called Taijasa. The self is Vishwa in the waking state. The self is Taijasa in the dreaming state. Same self. And 3rd state is a deep sleep state, where we have sound sleep, snoring and all that. In that sound sleep state, or deep sleep state. Sushupti, it is the self which is the witness, that's all. The self remains as a witness in the deep sleep. And that self in the deep sleep is called Prajna. 3 names given to the self now. Meaning, at home, you are the head of your family. On the street, you are a citizen. In the office, you are a boss. You cannot say, the boss at home. Better you consult your wife before you declare. You cannot say that you are a boss on the street. No. There are 1,000 bosses passing by there. Nobody cares. There in the office, yes, you are the boss. Same man. Similarly, same self in the waking state is called Visva. Same self in the dreaming state is called Taijasa. Same self in the deep sleep is called Prajna. 3 different roles to the same self. Therefore, Vamana asks for these 3 states of consciousness. 3 states of awareness. First footstep, Visva, the waking state. Come on, surrender to God. How do you experience this waking state? How do you experience, in what way? With this gross body. Sthula. Sthula means gross. With this sthula deha, with this gross body, the self Visva will have all the experiences. So, first state, surrender, meaning sthula deha, the gross body, be offered to God. The self functioning the role of Visva in this gross body be surrendered to God. Meaning, body offered to God. Clear? Waking state. And then the second state, the dreaming state, where the self is called Taijasa. There in the dream, my body is not there. Body is on the bed. But mind builds, imagines all sorts of things. It creates you also. The mind creates others and the mind creates you also. Therefore, and the dreaming state is a subtle body or sukshma. Sukshma, subtle body, where the mind and the self are there, body is not there. Therefore, when Vamana asks for the second footstep, it means the subtle body, the sukshma deha, the taijasa, the mind to be surrendered to God. So, the first state, sthula deha, the body, with the consciousness Visva, to be surrendered to God. The second state, the dreaming state, the self given the name Taijasa, which is the subtle state, Sukshma, to be surrendered to God. Mentally, you are ready to surrender. Physically, first state. Mentally, the second state. Sukshma. And then comes the third state of witness. The third state is what we call, as I said, deep sleep, Sushupti, where the self remains as a witness. What we call Prajna is also to be surrendered. That's what you mean by 3 steps. Gross body, subtle body and the causal body. 3 to be surrendered. The body, the mind and the spirit are to be surrendered. That's what it meant by 3 footsteps. Visva, Taijasa, Prajna, 3 levels of consciousness to be surrendered to God, to be offered to God. That's what it meant. Then comes, when all the 3 states are surrendered, oh my Lord, you asked for 3 feet. Yes, I have surrendered the first part, Sthula Deha, the gross body, the Vishwa. Oh my Lord, I have sacrificed, I have given you the second footstep that you asked for, the Sukshma Deha, the subtle body, the mind, emotional, psychological aspects of human life. What you call the Taijasa is also at the feet of the Lord now. Now comes the third state, the deep sleep, where the consciousness is called Prajna, is also surrendered to God. Now what remains? What remains now? What remains is this. Still there is lurking there. Hangover is still left. That I-ness is still left. And the consciousness still there. Still little ego is left. Still little self is still remaining. The individual self and the universal self are one and the same. The individual self is conditioned by these 3 levels, the gross, the subtle. They are controlled by the senses, body, mind, intellect and ego. When these are all gone, then only individual self will find its identity with the universal self or the cosmic self. What is that? That is the 4th state. What you call Turiya, the ultimate. Turiya, the ultimate state. Baba explains this way. A person has taken upon himself to play in a drama 3 roles. In one scene, he acts in one role. In another scene, he acts a different role. And in another scene, another role. The same man. Similarly, same self has all these 3 states, as I have been telling right from the beginning. Vishwa, Taijasa, Prajna. But left to that, it is beyond these 3. Left to that, it is beyond these 3. Simple example. You may be the boss in the office. You may be a citizen on the street. You may be the head of your family. But left to you, who are you? Do you say, I am the boss of the family? No. So long you are in the family, so long you are at the residence, you are boss, that's all. Come out. Nobody will say anything. You are nobody. So you are not the boss, left to you. You cannot say that you are simply a citizen, an individual outside. No. Because you belong to the community. You are a member of the community. You are a member of a nation, citizen. You are not simply a creature like that. No. You cannot say, I am the boss, because the moment you come out of the office, you are not a boss. Left to you, you are none of these 3. Am I clear? The real you, the real self is none of these 3. The real self is neither gross nor subtle. The real self is neither the waking state experiencer, nor the dreaming state experiencer, nor the deep sleep experiencer. The real self is beyond these 3. And that is Turiya. And that real self Turiya on the top is what we call Vaiswanara. Vaiswanara. The real self, the cosmic self. So, from the individual self, you pass on to the cosmic self. And this kind of journey from individual self to the cosmic self is possible if only we surrender these three states. And that's what is meant by 3 footsteps, or 3 feet that Vamana asked for from Bali. So my friends, it is not a matter of Bali alone. It is not a matter of Vamana to ask for these 3 feet as if he doesn't find anywhere. It applies to every one of us. Every one of us here is a Bali emperor for himself. But just like that emperor, we want to do yajnas, yagas, pujas, because we have got our business that should be very, very successful. We have got our own family problems that have got to be solved. And we have got professional obligations and professional prospects where we should get some promotion. So we do all pujas, yajnas and yagas. But they don't give you permanent bliss or liberation or moksha. No. Therefore, just as Emperor Bali was performing yajna to attain that state of Indra, we are also in the state of Bali, aspiring for worldly, physical comforts, gains and benefits. But poor Bali, in spite of all this, deserved the attention of God because he was very kind, compassionate, and sacrifice personified. It means what? We too have to develop the qualities like of that of Bali, who has endeared himself to everybody in that country. Whereas we are so close to some and distant to others, some are dear to us, some people don't belong to us. This kind of classification is there. Class conflict is there among us. Therefore, my friends, just as Bali is a friend of all, loved by all, we should also love all and serve all, the qualities of Emperor Bali. That made him deserve the attention of Vamana. God comes there. Therefore, each one of us here symbolizes Emperor Bali and certainly draw the attention of God. And Bhagavan Baba himself is Vamana and Trivikrama. Bhagavan Baba is Vamanavatara and also Trivikramavatara. Trivikramavatara meaning very mighty in all the 3 words, very powerful in all the 3. And then we should be prepared now to sacrifice the 3 feet that our Lord asks for. What are they? The gross body, subtle body and the causal body. The waking experience, the dreaming experience and the deep sleep experience are to be surrendered to God. That takes us to a state of liberation or moksha. That is the inner significance of Onam, which I wanted to share with you this morning. Thank you very much for your attention. And now, my friends, we have about 2 Sundays or 3, I do not know, for Dasara celebration. Dasara celebration will commence from 3rd or 2nd, I think. The Vijayadashmi falls on 9th. It will be 7-day festival. Saptaha Jnana Yajna. 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Okay. It may be from 2nd or so. A 7-day festival. Here in Prashanthalayam. But it is a 9-day festival everywhere. Swami celebrates this for 7 days. But Dasara festival is spread over 9 days. What is the difference? Why 7? Why 9? Why not 16? Swami celebrates Dasara for 7 days, not as a ritual, not simply as a spiritual, what you call, routine. No. It is Veda Purusha, meaning Veda Purusha, God Himself, Saptaha, for 7 days, Jnana, wisdom, Yajna, the rites or rituals. So, the 7-day festival is the one for Veda Purusha God, Bhagavan Baba, Saptaha, for 7 days, Jnana, the knowledge or wisdom. So he is not conditioned by 9 days or 13 days, no, 7 days. Why 7? There are 7 notes in music, Sapta Swara. There are 7 seas, Sapta Samudra. So 7 is very important. If you just take it like that, there are 5 senses, plus mind and intellect. 7. So the knowledge, the wisdom is the main objective behind the performance of Yajna. Therefore Veda, Purusha, Saptaha, Jnana, Yajna for 7 days. But elsewhere, the Dasara is spread over 9 days. It's called Nava, meaning 9, Ratri, 9 nights. Navaratri. Wherever you go, particularly Karnataka, is very famous. Navaratri festival. 9 days festival. Nava nights, Ratri nights. Navaratri celebrations. And then Dasara celebrations bear another beautiful name. Sri Devi Navaratri. Sri Devi Navaratri. Sri Devi Navaratri. 4 words here. What do you mean? Sri represents Prakriti or nature. Prakriti or nature. And then Devi, that which shines, that radiance, that light is Devi. Nava, 9, Ratri, nights, meaning 9 days. Therefore, Sri Devi Navaratri is a celebration of Dasara where we see the light or brilliance Devi in nature, Prakriti. Understand? Simple example. Kramamuta Bhagavanudu Udayastamaya Nandanela. How do you find the sunrise and sunset? Why? Gaganamuna Kanti Kaise Yutaranu Paganu Matramudagu Bhangiyela. The stars that shine in the night, they hide themselves in the daytime. Why? Anishamuta Pavanundu Anishamuta Pavanundu Jivakotula Brova Sada Vivanela. You find cool breeze. Why? Who is responsible for this? Anishemu Kila Kila Naumutu Nadulu Pravahintu Chandamela. Anishamu Kila Kila Naumutu Dhanula Salila Mubhangi Nadulu Pravahintu Chandamela. Why and how? That the rivers flow incessantly, continuously. How? Bhuvini Tsuchinayandu Brahmayela. How are we deluded? How are we just carried away by illusion? Why? How does it happen? This is Devi. So, all that you see outside is Sri, nature. And the light in everything, the cause for everything is Devi. Meaning, creation is Sri, creator is Devi. understanding Creator Devi through the creation Sri. I can understand the logic of electricity when the mic is here. I can understand the presence of power supply when the fans start working. Therefore, these are the gadgets or the instruments that prove the existence of power supply. Am I not right? Similarly, the creation is Sri, which speaks of the Creator, the mighty power, the divinity, Shakti, the power behind it is Devi, Sri Devi. And then we worship all these 9 days, Nava, Ratri, nights. Nava we can understand 9 days, then Ratri, night, why? We can say night, days, daytime. Why night? Night is dark everywhere. The darkness is ignorance. Ignorance, identification with the world. This ignorance is to be shed. Therefore, the process of getting away out of the darkness of ignorance during 9 days by thinking of the mighty cosmic power in this creation is the meaning of Sri Devi Navaratri. So it's not simply to make 9 types of preparations to eat. Every shop has 9 or 10 types also. So Sri, as I said, to sum up once again, because these are Sanskrit words, Sri is Prakriti or nature. Devi is that light, that which shines. You are able to see, you are able to perceive. That is Devi. And Nava, 9, Ratri, the darkness, which is ignorance. So, Sri Devi Navaratri celebrations should take us out of the mire of the darkness of ignorance. If we enjoy darkness, continue to live in darkness, we are nearest cousins of rats. Rats enjoy darkness. We should come out of it. That is the purpose. And then about 9, I want to draw your attention, certain important points. 9, Navaratri. Why 9? Will be the question. Why 9? The first point is, the body has 9 holes of any country at any point of time. 9 openings, 9 outlets, eyes, ears, mouth, nose, calculate 9 outlets. 9. No, sir, in our country there are 12. Not possible. Or you cannot say, sir, in our country there are no outlets, openings at all. Very good. Must be a pillar. Must be a pillar. So, 9 meaning that symbolizes Navarandhra. Nava, 9, Randhra, outlets are openings. Nava. And this, the eyes, 2 holes that will take me to the inner space. The ears take me to the inner space. That is Avarana. Avarana is the space. Simple example. As you open the door, you get into this hall. Similarly, this ear is a door that will take you to the inner space. The eye is a hole that takes you to the inner space, the screen. Similarly, the 9 outlets of the body takes you to inner space, Avarana. So, 9 Avaranas, 9 holes will take you to 9 different spaces. Avarana. Nava Avarana. Nava, 9, Avarana is the space. Therefore, 9 nights are celebrated. Withstand the test of time. You understand me, my friends? What I am trying to draw your attention is, these are all according to Shankara Advaita philosophy. As interpreted by Adi Shankara, as explained by Bhagavan, it's not according to my imagination, at least till now. I don't think I would do it in future. I don't like it also. I'll simply leave the place from those who want to interpret in their own style. If you want it, you can do it anyway. Sky is the limit. How about the scripture? Let's know. Therefore, my friends, how do I say 9 holes Nava, leading to space Avarana, Nava Avarana, Nava Ratri? What is the basis? During Dasara, there will be installation ceremony. Installation of yantra. Yantra is a particular equipment which is worshipped with mantras and installed there on the beginning, before the commencement of pujas. That is called yantra. Tirupati temple has yantra there. Every temple will have yantra, meaning they worship repeatedly with a number of mantras and install it there. Therefore, the particular yantra installed at the time of yajna in all Dasara celebrations is called Navavarana Yantra Pratishtha. Nava Avarana Yantra Pratishtha. Very clear. Nava, 9. Avarana, space. Pratishtha, installation. Yantra, the particular thing. Am I clear? Therefore, the Dasara celebrations, the yajna, will have installation of this Navavarana Yantra Pratishtha. The installation of a special equipment, a special device which is worshipped with mantras called Navavarana Yantra, meaning Nava, 9, Avarana are the spaces, as I explained till now. See what a beautiful meaning it is. We simply sit there, what do we understand but for the fire and the smoke? And mantras we don't understand. I also doubt whether priests know or not. They know only to repeat. They only to repeat. Mere repetition without knowing the meaning, to me, is useless. We should know the meaning. That's what Baba said. Veda Vedangamulu Vallavesiyunna Pajagajambu Gurpagalligiyunna Pajagajambu Gurpagalligiyunna Chitta Shuddhi Lekayunna Chedunu Vidu Satyamaina Mata Ee Sai Mata Satyamaina Mata Ee Sai Mata Satyamaina Mata Ee Sai Mata. Veda Vedangamulu Vallavesiyunna. You can chant Vedas continuously, so long your breath permits. Padya Gajambu Gurpagalligiyunna. You may be composer of poems and several other pieces of literature. Chitta Shuddhi Lekayunna Chedunu Vidu. When there is no purity of heart, he is sure to be spoiled in spite of recitation. In spite of recitation, he will be spoiled, he is ruined totally. What is most important thing is the purity of heart, as Baba himself said. Veda Vijjalalla Velayangada Sadiviyu. One may be a great scholar by reading all Vedas and Vedangas. Matalandu Nepu Nipunudayu. He may articulate his speech with very good sentences, with very good verses. He may do that. But yet, samskari kakuna సంస్కారే కాకున్న పదును లేని భూమి పండనట్లే. If there is no culture, if there is no refinement in him, it is almost a barren land that would never bear the crop, that would never be ready for the harvest. It's a barren land, empty land, dry land. Therefore, importance is given to the purity of heart, the refinement and the culture, which are more important than the mere repetition or recitation according to Bhagavan. Therefore, my friends, Sri Devi Navaratri, the meaning of which I was trying to explain, is amply supported by the installation of Navavarana Yantra Pratishtha or before the commencement of Yajna. And then there is another important aspect here. They will light the lamps, 3 Ratri Vrata. 3 Ratri nights, Vrata, they will light lamps on those 3 days. Ashtami, Navami, Dasmi. Last 3 days, they will keep so many lamps. Last 3 days. 3 Ratri Vrata. 3 Ratri nights, Vrata, special ritual. What do they do? Light the lamps. What do you mean? There is a kind of darkness at all the 3 levels of our awareness. In the first level of awareness, I do not realize the self in the waking state. Because I am drawn by the external world, I interact with my senses and is totally deluded. There is no doubt about it. When there are objects around, you will certainly watch them. When there are sounds, you will certainly listen to them. If you say, I don't hear a sound, something wrong with you. I don't see, please get yourself checked up. The outside world will delude you such that you will not experience the self. So, that darkness of ignorance is there even in the daytime. The darkness of ignorance is still there even in the daytime. Why? I don't recognize myself. The Supreme Self. That's 1. 3 Ratri. First, a recognition of the darkness of ignorance in the first state, waking state. Therefore, you should light the lamp. When you light the lamp, the very light itself, the knowledge, the wisdom will dispel this delusion, will confer the ignorance. Oh man, even in the waking state, you can experience the self. Even in the waking state, you can experience the self. How is our question? Baba gave a beautiful answer. You look into the eyes of the other man. In his eyeball, you see your own reflection. Right? In the eyeballs of everybody, I see my own reflection. Therefore, the waking state should teach you the lesson of unity, of oneness, experience of the self. That's what it is. And then second night, even in the dream, I don't recognize the self, no. Because the dream experiences are same as the waking experiences. I shout, I cry, I am proud enough. Oh, full of ego. Self is not recognized there. The second darkness. Meaning what? When you light the lamp on the second day, second night, what does it mean? Oh man, don't speak of dreams. Know the dreamer. Dreamer is more important than the dream. There are many people who go on telling me about their dreams. I am fed up with them. I am fed up with the day life itself. Why night dreams again? Double luggage, extra load. Extra load, why? Dreams are many, but dreamer is one. Please understand the dreamer. Why do you want the dream? After all, this is a daydream, that is a night dream, as Baba says. People go on speaking of dreams. Swami appeared in my dream. And when he is there, why do you want to think of dream? I say, please stop it. He is there in the veranda. See him now. No, he doesn't want to say, in the last night in my dream, just silently quit that place, that's all. Let us live in the reality. So, my friends, in the second state, dreaming, think of the dreamer and not of the dream. That is the significance of lighting the lamp on the second day. And the third day, Dashami, Ashtami, Navami, Dashami, the 3 days of Dasara. On third day you light another lamp. What does it mean? Even in the final state, the causal state, I still feel that this self is limited to myself. Myself. People say myself. Remove the my. The self is same in everybody. Some people say, I myself did it. I myself was physically present there. I remove my. My is Maya, my. When once you remove that Maya or Maya, that self remains, which is same in everybody. That is the cosmic self. Therefore, to raise from individual self to the cosmic self, by just sacrificing the name and form, you will have all the wisdom by lighting the lamp on third night, the Dashami. Therefore, we will have more and more of the details in the coming Sundays with the divine grace of Most Beloved Bhagavan. Thank you very much for your kind presence. Thank you very much. May Bhagavan bless you. Asato ma sagamaya tamaso ma yodirgamaya mrityorma amrutam gamaya. Samasta loka Sukhino bhavantu, samasta loka Sukhino bhavantu, samasta loka Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Baba Ji ki Jai. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Baba Ji ki Jai. Jai Bolo Bhagwan Sri Sathya Baba Ji ki Jai. Thank you.
हरिवरासनं स्वामी विश्वमोहनं हरिदधीश्वरम् आराध्य पादुकम् हरिविवर्धनं स्वामी नित्यनर्तनं हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये शरणकीर्तनं स्वामी शब्दमानसं वरणलोलुपं स्वामी नर्तनालयम् अरुणवासुरं स्वामी भूतनायकं हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये हरिहरात्मजं स्वामी देवमाश्रये सत्य हरिहरा